Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. Okay, so I did a piece last week that was just black, white and grey, and I did a puddle pour where I swiped and then I used a marble to create this design. So I'm going to do this all over again, but I'm going to use a different colour palette, and this time I'm going to inject some gold and I'm going to try and make it a really elegant piece. So that's the plan for today. This kind of design, a new colour palette. Let's see what we can create. Okay, so I'm using a 16 by 12 inch canvas. I'm using the black, grey and white again, but also this time I'm using gold. I love this colour. Really, really love the iridescent gold by Pebeo. I've got my marble and also my swipe colour ready. Okay, so let's layer the paint on the canvas. And this time I'm just doing it randomly, puddle by puddle, using each colour in turn. And of course, I'm saying I'm doing it randomly. I'm not doing it randomly because subconsciously I'm taking each colour one by one in turn and almost creating like a symmetrical pattern on top of the canvas. But really, when you paddle your paints, you don't need to be thinking about a certain pattern. I'm just thinking about the design that I want to create. So when I do this, I try and think ahead and think about the colours I really want to kind of showcase on the canvas. So when I'm puddling the paints, I'm really thinking about the colours that I'm putting within the middle, really, the middle section of the canvas. I'm not too worried about the outer edges because a lot of the paint will go over the edge anyway. So if there's a specific colour that you really want to feature in your creation, I would say puddle those in the middle. And this time I'm doing it a little bit different. So the black puddles that you can see, I'm also adding some of the gold on top. Because what I'm thinking about is when I put my marble on the piece and I'm tilting the canvas to create a design using the marble, I want some of those colours to really mix together. So I'm adding some of the gold on top of the black, some of the grey on top of the gold. Okay, so it's swipe time. I'm using Australian Floetrol mixed with Amsterdam's titanium white. And my best piece of advice for you when you're doing this technique and you get to this section is take time. Don't rush, just take your time using your tool to swipe the paint over the top of the canvas. There's really no rush. Have a look at the composition as you go along. Think about where you want your swipes to go, because when you stretch this out, that design is going to really change because you're going to stretch the design out and some of that paint will fall over the sides of the canvas. I've got to admit, I really love this colour palette. I always love a bit of gold anyway, but I'm really enjoying this technique, and those cells and lacing that are popping up are gorgeous. Just look at some of this detail before we go ahead and stretch this design out. I love this colour combination. What other colour combinations would you like to see? Okay, so I've got my marble. I'm going to put it just there. There we go. Okay, so tilting time. Let's see what kind of design we can create. And again, with this part, there's really no need to rush. Actually, it takes a lot of concentration and determination to ensure that you basically tilt your canvas at a good speed so your marble goes across each of the sections but doesn't go too fast so you kind of lose control. And also, don't forget to have a bit of fun when you're doing this. Tilt in different directions and you can see the type of creation that you can make. Some of that design on top is just wow. And I think adding the marble really adds a completely different pattern and dimension. Okay, so the swiping is done, the marbling is done, and now it's about stretching it out and really looking at the composition on top of that surface. Look at the design that you're going to create and think about the sides that you're going to kind of tip off first. So I've decided that I want to take all of these over the edge, but I'd really like a lot of the gold to remain. I would like that balance of block colour and lacing. So each time I tip some of the paint off the edge, I'm going to place it down, step back and have a look at the overall design, and then decide which side I'm going to tilt next. And what I really like actually when I'm looking at that detail, when I'm stepping back and really looking at that kind of pattern that it's created, I love that balance of also the lines that are there. So there's obviously the block colour and the lacing that I've created using the swipe. But the lines that are there are also really special, and when I'm tilting out the design, I'm almost thinking about what kind of side I want to keep more of. So something to bear in mind when you're looking at your overall design is think about that balance of the block, the lacing and the lines when you're tilting your creation. So it's wet version close-up time. Wow, guys, I love this. I'm going to be addicted to this technique, and you're going to probably see me use various different colour palettes. But I really love how kind of elegant this piece is with using that gold. The block colour is there. There's not too much of one colour. There's obviously a lot more gold than there is any other colour. But I really like that balance, and I really like the overall design. I really hope this dries well. So fingers crossed that it dries okay, and I will take you in for a closer look at the dried version. Okay, so I'm so pleased that it dried just as it was when it was wet. So here's the design. I absolutely love it. So I obviously did the black, the white and the grey, but this time I added the gold in, and it just really looks like a really classic kind of elegant piece. I'm so happy I tried this with the gold. Don't really know which way to put the picture itself, so I kind of like it that way, but then I also like it that way. It's really hard to decide which way round. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you in for a close-up just so you can see all that detail as well. And thank you so much for all your support. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to attempt this creation and technique too, and I'd love to see what you create. And maybe you're going to switch up the colours a little bit and try a completely different colour palette. Let me know what you're going to try down below, and if there's any other colour palette you'd like me to try with this technique, then also let me know what you think. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I hope you're having a great week. I hope you'll join me next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.